Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to have a crack at replacing the headliner in a Ford Fg Falcon. As you can see, it's badly sagged. I cut a section out the back here to take to the upholstery shop to match the material. In hindsight, I shouldn't have done that, as the amount of material that's left all over the black interior was a bit ridiculous and took a fair bit to clean. Only basic tools required to complete this job: some Torx bits, screwdrivers and trim removal tools. Remove the sun visor first using a Torx T25 bit. The sun visor retaining clip come out quite easily. Now I use a Phillips head number 2 screwdriver to undo the screws holding the sun visor up. I place the screws back in the respective holes and put it aside, ready for reinstallation later. I repeat the same process on the passenger side of the car. This time the sun visor retaining clip was a little harder to get out and I had to use a trim removal tool. Now unscrew and remove the grab handles using a Torx T25 bit. Pull off the body seals. And the plastic trim on the pillars. Remove the plastic clips holding the headliner up at the back window. There is 2 clips. Then I remove the screws holding up the courtesy light, which allowed the whole hood liner to drop down. Now you need to unplug all the electrical connections and undo the little bits of tape holding the wires onto the back of the headliner. I removed the headliner through the front passenger side door, but in hindsight I should have removed it through the back driver's side door. When I reinstalled it, it was much easier putting it through the back driver's side door. As you can see here, the fabric had completely let go everywhere. The piece of fabric I cut out of the headliner I took to Daly's Automotive Upholstery Supplies in Brisbane so I could get a match for it before I started. I used a scrubbing brush to remove all the remaining foam backing. As you can see, a simple process, but it was a little time consuming to make sure everything had been removed. I did this outside on the lawn as it does make a sticky mess that goes everywhere. Now we're ready to glue on our new fabric to the headliner board. Lay out the fabric that you have to ensure it covers the whole surface of the headliner board you're about to glue it onto. Now I take a marking pen and mark around all the edges just so I know where I have to put the glue to, so I'm not wasting any of my glue, as it's rather expensive. I used a cardboard cylinder which I placed across the board, so I only had to glue one half at a time, which made life much easier, as you can see here. This also stops the spray glue, which is contact adhesive, going onto the good side of the material. While spraying, I use a piece of scrap cardboard so the contact adhesive doesn't go everywhere, and you also notice I put a piece of plastic on the floor to prevent it from becoming sticky with all the glue. The spray contact adhesive I am using is called Tensorgrip T65 SA, which is a high temperature spray adhesive. I'll leave a link in the description where I purchased the glue and the fabric from. I'm looking for full even coverage over the entire surface. I'm also wearing protective gloves, and when I'm doing any type of glue work I put on 2 pairs of gloves. I call it double gloving. That way if I get glue on one hand I can quickly and easily remove that glove and then have a fresh clean glove surface to work with, especially when using this type of fabric, as contact would be very difficult to get off and your hands stay clean. Now apply the spray adhesive to the back of the fabric as well. Apply the spray adhesive in both directions to get an even coverage. Fold the material over and place it on the headliner board. Make sure it doesn't stick to itself and is in the correct position when you lay it down. This is where your clean hands or clean gloves come into play, as you can use the back of your hand then to press down the fabric and you won't get any glue on the surface of your material. Always try and work from the center out. That's half the material glued down now, so repeat the same process for the second half of the fabric. Use the same technique as before. Spray both surfaces with the spray-on contact adhesive. Lay the material onto the board, make sure you don't get any wrinkles, and I did get a couple here as I went, so I pulled it back again and started again and work from the middle outwards. This is the spot I'm talking about where it got a bit of a crease in, so I simply pulled it back, past where it was, and flattened the surface out again. This is why I tackled the job in two halves. I actually did a better job on the first half than I did on the second half because I had a few more wrinkles, as you can see. Make sure you work the material into all the creases and grooves on the board so it sticks in those spots. I decided to cut out a square piece of material from the corner, which was excess material, fold it in half and then rub over the whole face of the lining just to ensure there was no glue or any marks, and that way it's pressed down nice and firm. This was just the final once over I did to make sure it was all looking good. Now I cut off the excess fabric, leaving approximately 10mm to fold over. Normally it's just cut flush with the edge of the lining board. I also made some relief cuts, which makes it easy to fold over in the corners and round all the edges. If I ever do this job again, I've learnt a bigger and sharper pair of scissors would be handy when cutting lots of material. I sprayed the back of the board with some contact adhesive so the fabric would stick to it. Now I went along and folded all the edges over. This is where wearing gloves comes in handy, as you're getting contact adhesive on your gloves while you're trying to fold these edges over. I used a utility knife to cut out all holes in the fabric and then reinstalled the small courtesy lights. All the cutouts are complete and ready for the headliner to be reinstalled into the car. These are the tools I've used so far on this project. The headliner is back in the car, ready for a reinstallation of all the fittings to hold it in place. I first pushed in the sun visor clips, which will hold the front of the headliner up. Then I screwed them in to secure them. Next I reinstalled the grab handles, which help also hold the hood liner up in place. For the reinstallation of the Torx T25 screws, I found a different type of screwdriver which actually held a T25 Torx bit in it, which was much easier to screw all the screws back in and a lot faster than the old Allen key style Torx T25 bit. Once the hood line is supported, now I decide to check all the lights and switches work, as I don't want to go through the whole process of taking the headliner back out again because I forgot to plug in a wire. Once I checked everything was working, I decided to reinstall the rest of the grab handles to further support the headliner. Now that the headliner is well supported, I decided to reinstall the sun visors and work from the front to the back of the car, reinstalling everything as I go. install the body rubbers, which hold the hood lining up as well. And clip the plastic trim back into place. Install the rear grab handles on both sides. Then push on the body seals all the way around, which also help hold the hood liner up. And finally insert the two plastic clips at the back window glass, and it's almost done. One last check over that everything is installed correctly and all working. Please like and subscribe and give a thumbs up to help support the channel and help it grow. Also, please leave a comment if you have any tips and tricks that can help myself and others complete a similar job, as this is my first attempt at car upholstery. As you can see, the finished results look great. I'm very happy with the job. So get out there and have a crack at replacing your car headliner, and thank you for watching. I will leave a link in the description as to where I purchased the fabric and the spray adhesive contact from.